Hello everyone and welcome to another round of the ICR Championship here in Tier 1. I am your host, MM Overdrive, for this weekend here at Portugal. So yeah, the Championship signings turn out to be very, very close at the top. I'll need to check in a second, just bear with me. But yeah, it was a very exciting race last time out in China. FRA Placky isn't racing this weekend, so therefore that opened us up the championship entirely. Noise, Sam Cole. So Typical F1 has a vital opportunity to try and take a big lead in the championship standings. As it stands, it would have been a very, very good battle to fight out today for the lead of the championship. Sam Cole currently joint leads with Placky on 51 points, and Typical in P3 on the 1 point. It's very close at the top, but they won't get to fight it out this evening. So for qualifying, first lap of the day is going to be from Limpjet in the Alfa Romeo, heading around the final corner to start his lap now. Of course, flat out through the final corner isn't too much of an aggressive corner, so therefore no braking or lifting necessary. Maybe in the race due to lacks of grip, as it's slightly bumpy. Heading down into turn 1, he seems to have that pretty nicely done for him. And heading through turn 2, now turn 3, going late on the brakes, and going to gear 2 short shifting on the exit. Seems to be what most drivers do. It is very preferential, but heading down into the turn 5 hairpin, I believe he goes just over the 22 mark, heading into the hairpin. Purple sector 1, of course, being the only one to set a lap so far. Now heading through turn 7, now turn 8. Has them both hooked up really nicely. Slightly sliding on the exit though, so that might cost him some time. Now heading through turn 9, heading into the long right hand of turn 10. He's going to take a very nice wide line into the corner. Now on the exit, he seems to have that pretty nicely hooked up. Purple sector 2, it's a 52.8. However, the purples do not matter, as he is the first person to set a lap so far. Rev Caterpillar seems to have beaten that with a purple sector from himself. Now heading around the final braking zone, and now up to the final corner. Sorry for that small lag spike. Heading around the final corner, let's see what lap time it's going to be. The first lap time of this qualifying session from Limpjet, and it's 1:17.9 for him. A very solid lap time for him there. Rev Caterpillar goes even faster on a 17.3, and SHZA Sam does a 1:16.6. I think Sam Cole might have changed his game tag, and FRT ACOS goes P2 on a 1:16.6. Next up is the McLaren of Leeson. He is not able to do a representative lap time. AEM Joran does a 1:17.4. Pretty solid banker lap for him there. Next across the line is Fairley, I believe, across the line. P3 for him on a 17.2. Sorry about that, I'm back. Leeson is currently on provisional pole with a 1:16.5. AMS Belair is going to be one of the next people to come across the line to set a flying lap time, as FRT Evans seems to have retired from the session very early there, so Not sure what's going on there, and there seems to be some rain falling, so I think that's might have retired because everyone's trying to get their laps in now, and the rain is starting to fall, so this is going to be crucial for the events of this Grand Prix. And you can see AMS Blessed struggling for grip down at turn 1, and he wasn't able to hook up that corner as nicely as he could. Now Bon Bon Boy on the medium tyres, let's see what he's able to do. This is going to be the only run he gets in qualifying. He doesn't seem to be pushing for it, I don't think. I'm not sure if he's going to be pushing for it or not. We're now heading down into turn 10. Pretty solid apex from him there. But yeah, it's not looking good for him as he spins off, going through turn 11, and that seems to be his qualifying over. This rain might become a bit too much for the drivers to handle, and it surely won't dry up in time for them to get a representative lap time in. So I think as it stands right now, it's FRA Elysian on pole, FRT Venom in P2, Sam Cole P3, FRT ACOS P4, Typical F1 P5, AMS Fairley P6, AMS Blair in P7, Rev Caterpillar P8, AEM Joran in P9, Limpjet in P10, TTM Rossi P11, and FRT Evan P12 already DNF'd. And Bon Bon Boy is going to retire as well and start P13 on the grid, unless if anyone gets disqualified in the top 10. Rev Caterpillar retires as well, so we're essentially just waiting on everyone to retire here, pretty much, and get out of the way. I will be back in a second, so yes, just make sure to stay tuned. I'm sorry to download. As you can see, most drivers retiring now, so that may be the end of qualifying there. And yeah, that was a very short qualifying session, only around 5 minutes of proper lap times. So AlphaTauri's yet to retire though, so I believe that's who we're waiting on. AMS Fairley, the last driver we are waiting on to retire from the session, and then we can get underway with the race. We should be getting the race underway shortly. We're just waiting for Fairley to retire. So that is our grid then set up for today's race. Is FRA Elise on pole position, 1:16.5 from him, 10th clear from FRA Venom and P2. Pretty solid lap from the two drivers. Shazzy Sam, I think the team is Shazzy, SHC. Sam takes P3, Akos in P4, typical F1 in P5, AMS Fairley in P6, AMS Blair in P7, Rev Caterpillar in P8, EM Joran in P9, Limpjet in P10, and the bottom three drivers were TTM Rossi, FRT, Evan, not FRA, and Born Boy in P13. So that's our grid for today's race. Pretty small grid. With only 13 drivers, but we shall still be in for a pretty exciting race. So famous meme quote: don't go anywhere, don't go anywhere. But yeah. I think we can get a glimpse of what some drivers will be starting on from the pit lane. Bon Boy probably is starting on mediums, judging off of the tyres he has in the pits. That's just a guess, like a send really. But if he does, that's just insane. But there we go. The race shall be underway shortly. Has taken a bit long for things to settle down. We have been waiting for a decently long time for this race to get underway. Around like 10 minutes at that. But anyways, here we are. We've finally made it onto the grid, starting the formation lap. Is Bon Boy actually on mediums? That's what I want to know. And he is. That is insane. Okay, so strategy that is predicted is soft hard or medium hard. I won't be surprised if we see a few soft mediums going up and down the grid. Bon Boy starting from the back on those medium tyres. His teammate in P2 on the front row alongside FRE Elise in P1. Speedy Midget joins the session a bit too late. So on board with the FRE Elise, and he's on pole position right now on the soft compound tyres. Same with FRT Venom on the softs as well. Same with Sam, Akos, typical Fairly Blair, Rev Caterpillar, Joran, and Limpjet all on the soft compound tyres. Of course, qualifying in qualifying on the soft compound tyres to get into the top 10. So those are the tyres they will start on. Medium tyres for TTM, Rossi, Evan, and Bourne in the back. No one's opted for the hard compound tyres at the start of this Grand Prix, so it should be pretty interesting. Probably some variations of strategy up and down the grid as we wait for the drivers to line up in their grid spots. Zefari Elisen heading around the final corner, final braking zone rather, to start the race. Just doing his final weave. He is pretty far from FRT Venom. He has got a bit of time to wait for the drivers behind him. Considering the gap that Boom Boy's left, and that's a spin for Rev Caterpillar actually, so that will cost a bit more time at the start of this race, as Elisen is already lining up into his grid spot. So So we are waiting for everyone to finally line up in their grid position. Rev Caterpillar is the final one to do so. So here we are on the grid. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Portimao, and it's lights out, and away we go. Seems to be a very good release from Venom, but it's not as good afterwards from Elisen. Elisen pulls away slightly. Akos goes side by side with Sam into turn 1. Akos takes P3 away from Sam heading down into turn 1 already. He's already got that advantage on him. Valley's trying to set up a move on Sam going through turn 3. Now turn 4. Is he going to switch it back to the inside? No, he's not going to have enough traction to do so, or to be able to send it. FRT Venom is going to go for it to the inside, heading into the turn 5 hairpin. He's got the move done. Is Elisen going to be able to switch it back and hang it round the outside, heading into the double right hander? He's not got the pace to do so. Venom is in front. They made a slight bit of contact there. Akos isn't able to close in enough to capitalize on this battle here, and it's now Venom who leads the way. The front runners have switched in this Grand Prix, so now Venom has that track position advantage now, and he can play with the strategy slightly more, as it will be pretty hard to overtake in these first few laps without DRS. So he can play the strategic game a lot better than Elisen with that jump. He did very well to get a good getaway to set himself up for a move into turn 5. Rev Caterpillar is trying to set a move up on Blair. Seems to have some pretty decent traction there going out of the corner. Is he going to be able to get enough straight line speed to go for a move down into turn 1? He's going to be burning some of his ERS. AMS Blair is going to burn it in defense. So he's going to use the slipstream there, and Blair gets very close. I'm not sure if he brake checked him there. Went off at the wrong moment, but something definitely did happen. Blair lost out a lot to his teammate in front. So and they did make some slight contact. Rev Caterpillar there. Doesn't seem to have any damage though, so it seems to be fine for him right now. Boom Boy now trying to follow his do what his teammate did a lap ago. Spin there for TTM Rossi into the barrier. Boom Boy tried to go to the inside. He's not going to get the move done. On the medium tyres, there's not enough grip for him. Joran is going to be defending like crazy to hang on to this position, but Boom Boy is going to go for it, and he's gone for it going into turn 8. He's got the move done. Joran's not going to have enough to fight back. He's got a very good move done there heading into turn 8. It's very good move from him. Joran's going to try and set a move back with the extra grip he has on those soft compound tyres. He's not going to be able to do much though. He's going to hang on to P11 for the time being, as that's going to allow Rossi to close in on this battle. And try and make some inroads on the two cars in front. Boom Boy now has that advantage over Evan. He has a car between him, and they're both on the same strategy, so that was a huge upside for him. At least on fast lap of the Grand Prix, quickly stolen by FRT Venom, who currently leads this race. FRT Evan is going side by side with Joran, but right now I think he's going to go around the outside of Joran. He's going to try and hold it. He's run off slightly to hang on to the position, so that might be looked into by the stewards. I'm not too sure. Evan now trying to set up a move on Joran. Again, he's had a big snap of oversteer on the exit, so he's not going to be able to close in too much. TTM Rossi's going to come into the pits. He's going to retire out in the pit lane. He won't be racing any longer in this Portuguese Grand Prix. Boom Boy is doing very well at the start of this race. He's already trying to set up a move on Limpjet here. Is he going to go for it? Heading into turn 10 already. He's going to go to the inside. He's found a gap and he's made it stick. He's already up into P8. On this alternate strategy, he's doing very well here. Started P13, qualified P13 after that retirement early session. He didn't manage to get his lap in. You can now see how well he's doing. He's pushing very hard on these medium tyres. He's managed to get himself up 5 places, already up into P8. He's last season in HFRL, he started P16 after the sprint race and came back to win the main race itself. So he's going to be trying to do something similar to what he pulled off almost a season ago, as these two leagues are very well. HFRL merged with ABS and then it became ICR. Yeah. Anyway, FRA Leeson, purple sector 1 for him there. Seems to be pushing decently hard to stick with the Venom. You can see they're both burning their ERS pretty heavily. Venom is burning slightly more though. He's trying to get that DRS gap away from him. Akos now, he's just being pulled by the slipstream. You can see how well he's managed his DRS, how much better. He nearly has double the amount of Elysian there, so he's doing very well. AEM Jordan is now closing in onto the back of Evan. Evan hasn't been able to capitalise so far in this Grand Prix. Blair's retired from the race. I haven't noticed that just until recently, but now Jordan is really starting to close in here on those soft compound tyres. He's not going to have much grip on them for any longer, so he's going to have to try and get them moved on as soon as possible here. He's closing in, but he's not closing in just enough to find a way to get them moved on. 5:10 separates them heading down on the home straight. He seems to be struggling quite a lot, losing time pretty rapidly. He's losing time faster than he's actually gaining it, so he seems to be struggling slightly. Boom Boy is already closing in on Typical, our championship leader. Typical down in P7. He's not doing too well for himself here in this championship fight. The race where one of his rivals isn't competing and his other one is up in P4. This is a huge race for him to capitalize on what he has, and he's lost the position to Boom Boy. He's now going to be only 3 points in front of FRA Placky heading into the next round, and he's going to lose out a lot to Sam Cole. In terms of the championship standings, he may be a race win away. You never know who's going to win this race, but Boom Boy has had a very solid first stint so far, already up into P7, now chasing down the Aston Martin of Rev Caterpillar for a top 6 finish. Already the softs seem to be dying off. It's either that or Boom Boy is really making those mediums look very good on him. He's pulling away at a rapid rate. He's already pulled 1.2 seconds to typical F1 in the space of less than a lap. So you can see how hard he's pushing, and not only that, but how well he's driving. Typical is really starting to burn his ERS. He's under 10%. Boom Boy is like around the 50 mark, and Rev Caterpillar's on 30. So as it stands right now, Boom Boy is in a very good place right now to cut through the field. That was the song I was looking for. I had to think so hard about that. AMS Fairley isn't he's pretty close to Sam. It is a DRS train right now at the front, so no moves are going to be made for the next couple of laps. It seems to just be a recurring cycle of them closing in on each other, going down the straight, but not able to make any inroads on each other. FLT Venom, first lap of the race from him there. Pretty solid lap. I think it was a 1:19. I'm not sure what the tenths were, but as it stands right now, it's currently Venom leading the way in P1, Elysian in P2, Akos in P3, Sam in P4, Fairley in P5, Rev Caterpillar in P6, so he has dropped off slightly. allowing Bourbon Boy in P7 to catch up, and now in the DRS range, so he's looking pretty menacing in that equal performance. Mercedes, Typical F1 in P8, Limjet in P9, and FRT Evan in P10 rounded out the top 10. DM Duran following close behind in P11. And the field seems to be pretty bunched together as Bourbon Boy is really starting to make inroads on the driver in front, which is Rev Caterpillar. He's already going round the outside through turn 12. He's got the move done and he is clear. He's out in front. 6/10 now separates them. He's got the move done. He's up into P6. He's off to a monstrous start in this Portuguese Grand Prix. He's done very well here to get the moves done very early, which he needed to do. Rev Caterpillar's had a spin at the final corner, which is very unfortunate, and he gets a 3-second time penalty for that. That will most likely be removed. FRA Leeson loses out to Akos, and Akos has lost the DRS to Venom, so that would be pretty unfortunate. Venom can now run away with this race. He can already see he's burning his ERS. He knows he needs to pull away now when the DRS isn't there. Leeson now trying to gain on Akos as much as possible. He's got a bit of oversteer on the exit, but it's not enough for him to spin round. Retirement in the pits from Rev Caterpillar. So that is his race over. We're now down to 10 drivers in this Portuguese Grand Prix. As FRT Evans seems to have no front wing, and I think he's had a collision with Duran. As Duran had that spin at turn 8, he seems to be struggling for a bit of grip. It's probably the case. FRT Evan has no front wing in P10 and also a 3-second time penalty, which is not going to help any of his troubles right now. FRT Venom has tried to pull away, but he's not done enough to get that 1 second he needs. He's under 10%. Akos now can capitalize when he wants, essentially, and where he wants, as he's closed in a lot, and he has got that slight TRS advantage, but if he used it slightly more wisely, he would have a huge advantage over the people around him. FRT Evan retires in the pit lane from P10 after that damage he sustained with a potential crash with Duran. So 9 drivers left in this Grand Prix. I'm not sure if Duran's going to retire. The race. Most people have retired just because things haven't gone their way, so maybe this is another one to add to the list. 15.6 seconds off the driver in front, which is currently Limjet 0421. So that's a move for Sam on Elysian heading down into turn 1. Is Elysian going to be able to fight back heading down into turn 3? No, he's not close enough just yet. Now he's going to be trying to set up a move going down into turn 5. The move got done on him down into turn 5 on lap 1. It's now lap 10. Is he going to be able to do the same here on Sam Cole? He's not going to be close enough heading down into the braking zone. Some action finally here on lap 11 of this Grand Prix. Sam, Elysian and Fairley all coming into the pits for their first stop, and most likely only stop of the race. It seems like Elysian is diving in for a set of mediums. The same for the two other drivers, the AlphaTauri of Fairley and the Haas of SHC Sam. Sam gets let out in front of Elysian, but Fairley gets held up, I believe. No, he's actually right behind. I don't know why. It looked like he was held up on my screen, but it's probably just another Cody's glitch. Anyway, so now the order has changed. Actually, no, it stayed the same, hasn't it? Yeah, I think Sam was in front of Elysian before they pit. I wasn't paying too much attention to that. I didn't know the pit stops were going to be coming this soon. Fairly drops down to P8. I'm not sure what's happened there. I think he's... I don't know why it says that, because it doesn't usually last that long. Typical F1 is into the pits from P4 for his first stop of the race. It's likely only stop as well. We're diving in for some mediums, medium compound tires. AMS Blair leaves the session. SHC Sam is pushing as hard as he can to try and gain that time on the undercut. Typical F1 loses out some positions down to P8 now. Bomben Boys up into P3. He's made some pretty huge inroads on the drivers in front. He's closed in on Akos and Venom as well, which is really done him well here, as considering the fact that both of them will be pitting pretty soon. They essentially have to pit to try and defend this undercut for the drivers behind. Venom's going to stay out, and so is Akos. They're both going to keep pushing on their stints and wait until later. As AEM Joran has gone wide, I believe. I'm not sure if that's a spin or anything. He's got another 3-second time penalty. He has caused a yellow flag, which is why I thought there was an incident down at where he was. Akos now seems to be catching on Venom pretty steadily, but it doesn't seem to be steady enough for him to get close enough to make a move going down into either turn 1 or turn 5. Other than that, there's not many other overtaking spots, so he definitely does need to be slightly more clinical on in his moves. As both Akos and Venom are coming into the pits here on lap 13 for a fresh set of tyres. Akos has essentially pretty much copy and pasted Venom's strategy here, so this might work pretty well in his favour. He's not going to gain much on Venom here. It's going to have to be all done on raw pace if he wants to beat Venom, but he might, if this strategy works out for Venom, it most likely will work out for Akos as well. SHC Sam comes out of the pit, and he is in front of Akos and Elysian, but they are going to fight it out. FRT Venom goes side by side with Sam now, heading into the left-hander of turn 4. He tries to get his nose in front. He's not going to be quick enough on the exit. He's going to burn some of his ERS, head down into the hairpin. Venom is through and past. Up into P3 now. He's into a podium position, doing very well for himself. Yeah, Akos is now closing in on Elise, and he's not able to get the move done just yet, heading down into turn 1. Heading through turn 3. He's just closing in slightly. He's probably going to be trying to set up a move going down into the turn hairpin at turn 5, but he just doesn't seem to get close enough. With this DRS stream that is formed, Bon Boy still leads the way out in P1 and yet to make a pit stop. So he's done decently well so far. Just when he bolts those self-softs on, he just needs to get the job done nice and well for himself to get a solid finish in this Grand Prix here at Portugal. As Limjet comes into the pits for his first off on the soft compound tyres, so he's really extended his first lap of the Grand Prix for first Venom. 1:18.6, very solid lap there. On those medium compound tyres, you can see Akos nearly pushing Elisen through turn 1, now heading through turn 2, now turn 3, hitting the apex nicely, heading through turn 4. Is he going to switch it back nicely enough? It doesn't seem so. Is he going to be close enough to go for a lunge? Heading down into turn 5, he's not going to go for it. But he's going to get the switch back, and he's not going to have enough traction to do so. He loses the rear end slightly, and now he's going to have to hold where he is right now, and he can't push. But you can see he's right on the back of Elisen here. Is he going to be close enough for a move down into turn 10? He's going to try make a work around the outside. He doesn't have the grip to do so. Switching it back one more time and another to try and get this grip, but he's not close enough. He's not going close enough to go for a move into any of these corners. Go slightly wide. Does Elisen. He's going to be getting a penalty soon if he keeps doing that, and actually gets penalised for it. But Akos now heading down into turn 1, heading down the main straight. Is he going to be close enough? Using his DRS, using his ERS, using his slipstream, heading down into turn 1. Is he going to be close enough? He's not. Just not close enough to go for a move. Elisen is really starting to push him out. This is forcing him to try and catch up to Sam. He's had a very bad lock up there, and this may fall invulnerable into the hands of Akos here, going down into turn 5. Is he going to go for the lunge? Yes, he is. He's gone for the lunge, heading down into turn 5. Elisen leaves him more than enough space. Akos does the exact opposite, forces him right off the circuit after the move, but now heading through turn 7 and turn 8. Akos is in front, and he's a whole car length in front as he takes P4 in the Portuguese Grand Prix. Akos has really lost out between this battle between to Sam in general, to be honest. 1 second separates the two drivers. Losing out slightly to Akos, but not losing out quickly. No. There's a yellow flag, and there's a crash for drawing, and that is potentially a safety car, and it is. So this is going to not only draw the field together, but this is going to give a huge advantage to Bonbon Boy, who has done 18 laps, 19 laps actually, on those hard compound tyres. And he's done very well on the stint for himself. So he has literally brought himself right into the game from last on the grid. He's now got an opportunity to try and take the win here in Portugal. So he has pulled off a master strategy, and let's see where he comes out. It's going to be pretty intense on the exit. So see if he's going to be able to make it in time. He exits the pit lane. Now Venom is going to be coming in as well. So Bonbon Boy will lead. Sam Cole's going to come in. Akos is going to come in. Eliason's coming in. Fairley's coming in. Typical seems like he will come in. He's taking a line that will come in. And he is Bonbon Boy on the exit now. And he leads the Grand Prix. So yeah, but we shall obviously have to sit these laps under the safety car. But it's Bonbon Boy who leads from his teammate FRT Venom. Safety car is in this lap, and Bomber Boy will lead the way for the restart from his teammate FRT Venom. So yeah, now he's weaving on this restart, trying to get as much heat into his tyres that he can. Let's see when he's going to go. And he's going to release now. Venom's got off to a decent restart. Sam, not the best of restarts. He's already losing out to Akos. Heading down into turn 1. Akos is now in front. We saw the same thing at the start of the race. They're now going to be battling side by side into turn 1. Sam holds on to the inside and gets the move done. And that's a spin for Elise. And Elise has been taken out by Akos. He looked to be in such a good position for most of the race. And now he's around 10 seconds back. After that spin, he's lost 8 seconds relative to the people in front of him. Limchet looking up down into turn 5. He is not the anyway. He's currently in P7, so yeah. Boom Boy currently leads the way, 11 laps remaining here in Portugal. 1:17.8 from Boom Boy. Running very wide there. Sam does have a penalty. Let's check how much that is. I didn't keep up with the penalty situation. It's 3 seconds, so he definitely does need to try and get a move on if he wants to hold on to this podium that he's got currently. Bomb Boy has been on a mad race so far. He's doing very well out in P1. There's only a couple laps left that he needs to hold on to this lead to take a momentous win here in Portugal. He's done it before in HFRL, and let's see if he can recreate it in ICR Tier 1. He has dominated the field so far this weekend, didn't manage to do it in qualifying. He's brought out all the pace in the race, the pace that he needed, and the race is where the points are scored, so he's doing very well for himself right now. Eight laps left in this race. Nothing much has really happened this race. Yeah, it is what it is. As Leeson comes into the pits, I think that'll be the end of his race, unless if he's going for a fast lap trying to aid McLaren in this Constructors' Championship. He's bolting up a set of wets. Lovely. So, see what he's going to be doing here on these wet compound tires. So, obviously, one of two grooved sets of tires to help wet weather performance. This is beautiful racing. And through the hairpin. Very nice exit. Probably could get fast lap right now, if I'm being honest. But going back onto this lead battle, Venom is closing in a lot on Bonbon Boy, but I don't think he's attacking. I think he's just playing it safe. He's not being too aggressive. That is a spin for Elise in that turn 8. Over the, pretty much around the death corner, if you want to call it that. But yeah, he's now quite heavily. SHC Sam is closing in on these top 2 drivers, both in the Mercedes, but Bonbon Boy is holding on as it stands right now. In P1, he's only got a couple more laps to hold on to get a momentous win. Only 8 more laps left in this Grand Prix. As it stands right now, Sam will drop down to P5 after the race. Typical. Needs to get a move on to try and maximize this penalty disadvantage that Sam has, and use it to his own advantage. It is going to help him a lot in the championship if he can do that. But Placky will be watching this race with a lot of joy in his heart as Elisa leaves the session without retiring. Yeah, Placky will be watching this race with a lot of joy, as it's going to be a very poor race for both of his championship title contenders, and they're both going to come out with a very, very low points, which is going to still keep the championship close, heading down into round 6, I think, which is going to be at, I'm not too sure, is it Spain? I think, probably. But yeah, heading through the hairpin, Sam currently hanging on to P3. He's not close enough to try and get moved on these 2 marks in the DRS train as well, which is not going to help at all. But yeah, I don't think Venom is pushing too hard. I think he wants Bonbon Boy to have this when he knows that he's done a lot to deserve it. So he's not going to make him fight too hard, it seems, so far. Sam is really, really pushing on these soft compound tires, trying to get as close as possible, getting a double dirty air though, which is not going to help him too much in the long run. Let's see if Venom uses his DRS down the straight. He is going to have it, definitely. Only 2/10 separates them. He's not going to be using it though, and as you can see, the DRS flap is closed. He's refusing to take a slipstream from his teammate heading down into turn 1. You can see Sam is getting so close to the Mercedes drivers. Is he going to be going for a move? Yeah, no, he's not. He's going to stay patient and wait for his next opportunity to go for a move. They're both Mercs are hanging on to this position like crazy there. Not even necessarily defending, but this teamwork is way better than any other teamwork we've seen this season from any other team. The 2 Mercs working together very well, and they're doing each other very good favors in this race. They're not messing each other up. They're not tripping over each other, and just a very well orchestrated race from the pair. Currently 4/10 separates them now, 5/10 back to SHZ Sam. He's only going to drop down to P4 after this race as it stands. Only another 6/10 for him to gain in the next few laps to completely lose ACOS and his 6-second time penalty to become quote unquote worthless in this Grand Prix. So yeah, heading down into turn 1, Venom is going to be using some of the DRS to try and stay in front of Sam. Sam's really starting to close in, heading down into turn 1. He's got very low ERS levels though, so he's not going to be close enough. He's going to brake pretty early. Heading down into turn 3, he's not going to be going for a move just yet. Now switching it back through turn 4, is he going to be able to close in enough? Heading down into turn 5, it doesn't seem like he is. He's not making too many inroads, and the Mercs hang on for another lap. They're just relentlessly going at it. Sam has a huge moment there. Losing quite a bit of time on the exit there, but yeah, pretty much. So, yeah. Typical in P6, closing in on fairly in P5 right now. They're both pushing decently hard. 410 separates them, those, but fairly will get a helping of the DRS from ACOS, which isn't going to help Typical's chances of overtaking here. Going back onto this lead battle, Venom is still in front. He's going to use some of the DRS to try and hang in front of Sam, but behind his teammate. He may have used a bit too much there, but he's going to hang on. He's definitely doing a very good job as it stands right now as his teammate. Sam is just not going to find a way to overtake as it stands right now. I believe... I don't even know at this point. Yeah, the two Mercs are still leading the way. They're doing a very solid job out in front. Bondman Boy is hanging on to this lead very nicely, of course, with the assistance from his teammate Venom. The 1-2 from the Mercedes. This is going to be a huge swing of points in the championship in their favour, especially with McLaren not having the best of outings. In this race, you can see Eliason's on in AI mode. He's not going to be able to achieve that fastest lap and take an extra point home. It's only going to be 8 points for him. That's if he gets his points after leaving the session early. But the boy Venom is really starting to close in. Sam now, he's very close onto the back of the two drivers. He's going to go to the inside, heading down into turn 2. Is he going to be close enough to send the move? Venom is going to defend like crazy, almost making contact with Bonbon Boy. This is going to open up the outside. Typical has swapped places with Fairley there, and now Venom is going to have to defend like crazy. He's now going to be using his DRS to defend. He's going to go to the inside. It's Sam Cole. He's going to try and stick to the inside. He's got a bit of oversteer, and the inside seems to be a cursed corner in this Grand Prix. Venom hangs on to P2, and the Marks are hanging on to this 1-2. Bonbon Boy has used that opportunity to take a bit of a breather from hanging on off of the two drivers behind him. So now with the limited chances left in this Grand Prix, Sam Cole must be infuriated at these two Mercs in front. ACOS is now starting to close in like crazy. AMS Fairley now is trying to close in onto this battle. This will put Sam down into P5 if Fairley can get within that 3-second gap. And now Sam is on the brink of losing not only a podium but a top 4 finish in this Grand Prix, which will only give him 10 points and give him a 9-point lead in the championship over FRA Placky, not AMS Placky, but yeah, the two Mercs still lead out in front. 1.5 laps remaining as it stands right now. Venom starting to close in onto the back of his teammate, but he won't be going for a move anytime soon. He will be trying to just hold positions and try and finish in this formation for the rest of the race. Try and keep Sam Cole behind is surely the goal for the two Mercs. As it stands right now, they're not going to be risking too much, and they're going to be playing it very safely indeed to hang on to a 1-2 finish, which is all they need to do in this race. So Fairley isn't close enough to gain that time on ACOS. He's not getting close enough to gain that time that he's missing. He'll have to find another second, it seems like right now, to be able to get that top 4 finish. Typical F1 gets past him now, heading on to the final lap. To FRT Venom heading down into turn 1. His teammate is going to be defending. Is FRT Venom going to go for the move on his teammate? They make some slight contact, nearly taking him out. He's almost bumper to tail, go through turn 1, almost taking him out. SHZ Talent Sam isn't close enough to capitalize on this mini battling from the two Mercedes. Now Venom's going to go to the inside here on the final lap. Is there going to be contact? He's gone too far to the inside, so he's not going to have enough traction to make the move stick. The inside is the car's place going down into turn 5. No one has seemed to make a move on the inside heading down into turn 5, so it's now going to be Bowman Boy, who only has the checkered flag in front of him. He just has to hang on, keep the car on the circuit, and he has essentially won this Portuguese Grand Prix from last on the grid. It's been a dominant drive from him in this race, and it's been definitely chaotic, and obviously a lot of retirements, whether they be on track or off track or in the pit lane. But it's going to be Bon Boy who's going to win here in Portugal. He did this last season in HFRL. He won from last on the grid, and he's going to do it once again. He's going to win from last to first, and he has done an amazing race, followed by his teammate FRT Venom, then FRT Akos in P3. Sam loses out on a podium with a 3-second time penalty in P4. Fairly in P5, Typical I believe in P6, Limpjet in P7, and the rest have DNF'd, being Elysin, Joran, Evan, Caterpillar, Blair, and TTM Rossi. But brilliant drive from Bowman Boy there to take his first win of the season, I believe, in ICR. And he's done a very solid job and a well-deserved victory for him there. That's been it from ICR. Today I've been your host, Overdrive. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to tune in for the rest of the weekend. The other 4 races coming live for you on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for Tier 2, 3, 4, and 5. And make sure to tune in for the rest of the season. And from now, that has been ICR, and goodbye.